Insufficient logging and monitoring. This is another big pet peeve of mine. I am a big proponent of logging and monitoring on systems, and I believe you can never have logging and monitoring that's too detailed or too well laid out. There's always more data that can be captured. And that seems to kind of go against what I was talking about with being too data hungry in systems. But here I'm really talking about not capturing user data, like private details of users' lives. I'm talking about capturing what's happening on the system, like what kind of actions are happening, what data got changed, what got accessed from where, and really having a thorough track record of everything that's going on in the system and connected systems. And that kind of logging, especially if you have a good log aggregator like Splunk, and if you have monitoring, if you have any of the modern systems that do monitoring, whether it's cloud-based or whether it's on-premise, there's a lot of graphite-based systems. There's other things like Apollo, and there's a lot of legacy things out there too. If you have monitoring set up to alarm based on certain thresholds, or you have even better something that performs automated actions on your behalf once an alarm gets triggered by a monitoring input, then you'll see that your life becomes a lot easier. And having logs, detailed logs, really helps to paint a picture of the security landscape of your system, like who is accessing it, how are they accessing it, how often are they accessing it, what pages are they navigating around, what kind of inputs are they trying. If you don't have that kind of stuff, then you really have a lack of awareness of the behavior of your users in the system. And you're not necessarily trying to just like track your users to spy on them. What you're trying to see is everybody really playing by the rules? Is everybody trying to do what they're supposed to be doing? Or is there nefarious behavior going on? Is there stuff going on that clearly looks like somebody's trying to either do some sort of social engineering, or they're trying to do some kind of injection attack, or some other kind of attack? Are they trying to store content potentially that is not human generated or human readable, that's just part of an attack they want to do with serialization and deserialization or cross-site scripting? All these things can be captured in the logging, and all of these things are worth logging because we want to have a picture of what's happening. Because if we have delays in our response to these things, that's really how we end up with having losses. It's where attacker behavior, a lot of times there's a trend. Almost all cases where an attack takes place, there's a lot of sort of hidden activity that's happening and that's preparing for the attack, whether it's kind of initial attempts or it's something along the lines of intelligence gathering. Sometimes a user account will get compromised and then it won't be used in an attack until 6 months later. And that's the kind of thing where logging and monitoring can really help. And why would logging and monitoring help here? Well, it's because you can set up tracking of certain conditions, and when those conditions get tripped, if thresholds get tripped, suppose number of invalid logins get tripped, then you can respond immediately before that causes the bigger issue. And then we have something like loss of information and money, and that only happens when we don't respond to what our monitoring and logging is showing us promptly.